My parents stole my college fund to pay for my sister's wedding. Now she expects me to be her maid of honor. I'm shaking as I write this. I just found out something that's completely turned my world upside down, and I don't know what to do. My family thinks I'm overreacting, but I feel so betrayed I can barely breathe. Here's what happened. My parents drained my entire college fund, $43,000 that my grandparents left specifically for MY education, to pay for my sister's wedding. Without asking me. Without telling me. And they expect me to just be okay with it, because family comes first. Let me start from the beginning, because this is a lot to unpack. I'm 19 years old, currently a sophomore at State University. My older sister, Chelsea, is 26 and just got engaged to her boyfriend of 4 years, Derek. I have a younger sister too, Megan, who's 16 and still in high school. Our family is solidly middle class, not wealthy, but comfortable enough. My dad works in insurance sales. My mom is a part-time dental hygienist. We never struggled, but we also never had money to throw around. My maternal grandparents, Grandma Ruth and Grandpa Joe, were the exception. They were pretty well off. Grandpa Joe owned a successful small business, and they invested smartly. They weren't millionaires, but they were comfortable and generous with their grandkids. When I was born, they started a college fund for me. They added to it every birthday and Christmas. When Grandpa Joe died when I was 12, his will specified that a large chunk of money should go into my college fund, $25,000. Grandma Ruth added more over the years. By the time I graduated high school, there was $43,000 in that account. The fund was set up as a custodial account with my parents managing it until I turned 21, at which point it would transfer fully to my name. But the money was always meant for MY education. Grandma Ruth was super clear about that. She wanted all her grandkids to go to college without the burden of debt that she and Grandpa Joe had struggled with. She passed away 2 years ago, right before I started college. At her funeral, she made me promise I'd use that money to get a good education and make something of myself. I promised her I would. I've been using the fund to pay for school, tuition, books, housing. State University isn't cheap, even as a public school. Each semester, my parents would transfer the money I needed from the account. It was smooth and simple, and I was so grateful to not have student loans like my friends. Until last week, when everything fell apart. The discovery. I'm planning to study abroad next semester in Spain. It's through my university's program, and it's an amazing opportunity for my Spanish major. The program costs about $15,000, including tuition, housing, and travel. I went to my parents 2 weeks ago to discuss accessing the college fund for the program. I'd done the math. I should have about $25,000 left in the account, which would cover study abroad and still leave money for my remaining years of school. My dad got this weird look on his face. We need to talk about that. Okay, is there a problem with the transfer? Do I need to fill out different paperwork for international programs? My mom and dad exchanged a look. That look. The one parents give each other when they're about to tell you something bad. Honey, my mom started. The thing is, it's not available right now. What do you mean, not available? Did something happen with the investment accounts? Another look between them. My stomach started churning. We had to use some of it, my dad said carefully. Use it? For what? It's for my college. We know, sweetie, but Chelsea's wedding is coming up, and you know how expensive weddings are these days. We had to help her out. I felt like I'd been punched. You used my college fund for Chelsea's wedding? Just some of it, my mom said quickly. Not all of it. How much is some? Silence.
How
much? Most of it, my dad admitted. But listen, you can get student loans for your remaining years. Lots of students have loans. It's not a big deal. I couldn't breathe. How much is left? About $3,000. The room started spinning. You spent $40,000 of my college fund on Chelsea's wedding? It's not $40,000, my mom said defensively. We'd already used some for your first 2 years. That's what it was for. Grandma and Grandpa saved that money for my education. You stole from me. Don't be dramatic, my dad said sharply. We didn't steal anything. We're your parents. We made a decision for the good of the family. The good of the family? What about what's good for me? This is exactly why we didn't tell you before, my mom said. We knew you'd be selfish about it. Selfish. She called me selfish for being upset that they'd stolen my inheritance. Over the next hour, they laid out their reasoning, and it somehow got worse. Chelsea and Derek are getting married in 3 months. They're having a huge wedding, 250 guests, fancy venue, the works. The total budget is around $60,000. Derek's parents are wealthy and offered to pay for half. Chelsea and Derek saved up $15,000. That left $15,000 that my parents were expected to contribute as the bride's family. Except my parents don't have $15,000 sitting around. They have some savings, but not that much liquid cash. So they borrowed from my college fund, planning to pay it back eventually. We were going to replace the money, my dad insisted. We just needed it short term.
When?
When were you going to replace $40,000? Over time. We'd make payments. Like a loan? You were going to pay me back like a loan? With interest? Don't be ridiculous. You're our daughter, not a bank. But Grandma's money that was meant for me, that you can just take? Your grandmother would have understood, my mom said. She loved Chelsea too. She'd want her to have a beautiful wedding. That made me see red. Grandma specifically saved that money for college. She made me promise to use it for education. She didn't leave it for weddings. You don't know what she would have wanted, Chelsea said, walking into the room. Oh, perfect.
My sister was here to pile on.
Actually, I do. She told me, multiple times. That money was for college. Chelsea rolled her eyes. God, Emma, you're being so dramatic. It's just money. Mom and Dad will help you figure out loans. It's not the end of the world. It's my money, Chelsea. Money our grandparents saved for me. It was in Mom and Dad's account. Technically, it's their money until you turn 21. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Are you seriously justifying them stealing from me to pay for your princess fantasy wedding?
Wow.
Okay. I can see you're too immature to have this conversation. She turned to our parents. This is exactly why I wasn't sure about asking her to be maid of honor. She's so self-centered. Maid of honor? I laughed incredulously. You think I'm going to be in your wedding after this? It's not after this, my mom said firmly. We're telling you now, so there are no surprises. And yes, you're going to be in your sister's wedding, because that's what family does. Over the next few days, the full picture emerged, and it was even worse than I'd thought. Chelsea's wedding is going to be absolutely extravagant. We're talking designer dress, luxury venue, top-tier catering, open bar, live band, professional videographer, the whole 9 yards. When I asked why they needed such an expensive wedding, Chelsea looked at me like I was stupid. Because it's my wedding. It's the most important day of my life. I'm not going to cheap out and have some sad little ceremony. There's a middle ground between sad little ceremony and $60,000. You wouldn't understand. You've never been in love. Low blow, but whatever. I have been in love, actually. My boyfriend Marcus and I have been together for 2 years. But that wasn't the point. The point was that Chelsea had always been extravagant. She'd always been the princess of the family, the one who got what she wanted. New car at 16? Chelsea got a brand new Honda.
Me?
I got her mom's 10-year-old Toyota. Dance lessons, cheerleading, expensive prom dresses. Chelsea got it all. I'd always accepted it as birth order stuff. She was the oldest, and by the time I came along, money was tighter. Fine. I didn't mind being more budget conscious. But this was different. This wasn't about new versus used. This was my inheritance. My future. And they'd handed it to her like it was nothing. When I tried to talk to Chelsea one-on-one, hoping maybe she didn't understand the full situation, she was completely dismissive. Emma, I'm sorry you're upset, but this is happening. The money's already been spent. The deposits are down. You can't unring that bell. You could have a smaller wedding. You could scale back. On my wedding? Are you insane? Do you know how long I've been planning this? Do you know how long Grandma and Grandpa were saving that money? Oh my God, you're so obsessed with the grandparents thing. They're dead, Emma. They're not going to care. I started crying. I couldn't help it. I care. I care that they wanted me to have an education without debt. I care that you and Mom and Dad just took that from me. Chelsea sighed like I was being exhausting. Look, you're smart. You'll figure out the loan thing. Lots of people have student loans. You're acting like this ruins your life. It changes my life. I was supposed to graduate debt-free. I was going to be able to take internships, study abroad, maybe go to grad school without worrying about money. Now I'm going to have to work full-time while studying and graduate with massive debt. Welcome to adulthood, she said, not unkindly, but not exactly sympathetically either. Not everyone gets a free ride. I wasn't getting a free ride. Grandma and Grandpa worked hard to give me that money. And Mom and Dad worked hard to raise us. So they used some of your money to help me. That's what families do. Get over it. The maid of honor expectations. A few days after the initial bomb drop, Chelsea texted me asking if we could meet for coffee to talk about the wedding. I almost didn't go, but some part of me hoped maybe she'd had time to think and wanted to apologize or find a solution.
Nope.
She wanted to talk about maid of honor duties. So, I'm thinking we should do the bachelorette party in Nashville. Long weekend, probably around $800 per person with flights and hotel and activities. I'll send you the Pinterest board I made. I stared at her. Chelsea, I can't afford that. What do you mean? You work part-time. I work part-time making $12 an hour to pay for groceries and expenses. I don't have $800 for a bachelorette party. Well, as maid of honor, you're kind of expected to cover some costs. That's normal. Is it normal to expect me to pay hundreds of dollars to celebrate you after you and Mom and Dad took my college fund? She put down her coffee cup hard. Okay, we need to get past this. The money thing is done. You being bitter about it isn't going to change anything. I need you to be my maid of honor, and I need you to be happy for me. You need me to be happy that you stole from me? I didn't steal anything. God, you're so dramatic. Mom and Dad made a decision. You're just going to have to accept it. No, actually, I don't. What does that mean? It means I'm not going to be your maid of honor. I'm not even sure I'm coming to your wedding. Chelsea's face went through several emotions, shock, anger, then tears. You're seriously going to ruin my wedding over this? I'm not ruining anything. You did this. No, you're being a selfish brat who can't be happy for her sister. I'm getting married, Emma. This is supposed to be the best time of my life, and you're making it all about you and your stupid college fund. My stupid college fund that you spent. People were staring now. Chelsea lowered her voice, but her eyes were furious.
Fine.
Don't be my maid of honor. Don't come to the wedding. But don't expect to have a relationship with me afterward. You're choosing money over family. You chose money over me. She left, threw a 20 on the table, and walked out. I sat there crying into my latte while strangers pretended not to watch. The family meeting. My parents called a family meeting that weekend. Even Megan, my younger sister, was there, looking confused and uncomfortable. We need to resolve this as a family, my dad started. Emma, your reaction to this situation has been really disappointing. My reaction? My reaction to you stealing from me? We didn't steal. Yes, you did. You took money that wasn't yours without asking. My mom jumped in. We're your parents. We have the right to make financial decisions for the family. That account was under our names. As custodians, you were supposed to be protecting that money for me, not spending it. We made a judgment call, my dad said. Chelsea needed help. You'll be fine. You're resourceful. Why is it always like this? I was full on crying now. Why does Chelsea always get everything, and I'm just supposed to be fine with nothing? That's not fair, my mom said. We've given you plenty. Name one thing you've given me that you didn't give Chelsea first and better. Silence. You got to go to college, my dad finally said. With money Grandma and Grandpa saved. Not money you gave me. We're providing you with a home to come back to. I pay rent when I'm home for summer. Because you're an adult now. So, I'm adult enough to pay rent, but not adult enough to have control over my own inheritance. Megan spoke up quietly. I think Emma has a point. Everyone turned to look at her. She shrank a little but continued. I mean, Grandma did save that money for college. And Emma is going to have to take out loans now. That's not really fair. Megan, stay out of this, my mom snapped. No, let her talk, I said. At least someone in this family has some sense. Don't pit your sisters against each other, my dad warned. I'm not. I'm just saying Megan can see what you apparently can't, that this is wrong. Chelsea jumped in. Of course she's taking your side. She always does. The two of you ganging up on me, like always. Ganging up on you? I was incredulous. You're the one who took my money. I didn't take anything. Mom and Dad offered. That stopped me cold.
Wait, you knew?
You knew they were using my college fund. Chelsea hesitated. I mean, I knew they were helping with the wedding. I didn't ask where the money came from. Bullshit. Emma, my mom gasped. Language.
No.
This is bullshit. Chelsea knew exactly where that money was coming from, and she took it anyway. I assumed they had it saved, Chelsea said defensively. How was I supposed to know it was your precious college fund? Because there's no way Mom and Dad have $40,000 just sitting around. You knew. You just didn't care. The truth was written all over her face. She had known, or at least strongly suspected, and she'd taken the money anyway. I can't believe you, I said quietly. Any of you. Emma, honey, my mom tried. I know you're upset, but you need to understand. Chelsea's wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Your education will still be there. You can take out loans like everyone else. Not everyone else. I wasn't supposed to be everyone else. I was supposed to be the granddaughter who got to graduate debt-free because her grandparents loved her and sacrificed for her. They loved Chelsea too, my dad said. Then they could have left her wedding money. But they didn't. They left college money. For college. You're being incredibly selfish, my mom said, her voice cold now. Your sister is getting married. This is a time for family to come together and support each other. Instead, you're throwing a tantrum over money. It's not about the money. It's about the betrayal. It's about you taking something that wasn't yours to take. We're done with this conversation, my dad said firmly. The money is spent. The decision is made. You can either accept it and be part of your sister's wedding, or you can stay bitter and miss out on a major family event. Your choice. Some choice. We're trying to be fair here, my mom said. We're willing to help you fill out loan applications. We'll even co-sign if you need us to. Oh, how generous. You'll help me go into debt to replace the money you stole. That's it. My dad stood up. This conversation is over. Emma, you have until the end of the week to decide if you're going to be in the wedding or not. I suggest you think very carefully about the consequences of your decision. It sounded like a threat. It was a threat. I didn't go back to that house after the family meeting. I stayed with my boyfriend Marcus and his family, who were horrified when I told them what happened. Marcus's mom, who's a lawyer, looked into it. The bad news, since the account was custodial and my parents were the custodians, they technically had legal access to the money until I turned 21. The good news, I could potentially sue them for breach of fiduciary duty since custodial accounts have specific rules about being used for the beneficiary's benefit. But suing my parents? That felt nuclear. Even though I was furious, I wasn't sure I was ready for that. I did, however, call the rest of my extended family. I called my aunt, Mom's sister, my uncle, Dad's brother, and my grandma's sister, Great Aunt Marie. The reactions were mixed. Aunt Diane, Mom's sister, was sympathetic but ultimately sided with my parents. I know it feels unfair, honey, but your parents are in a tough spot. Chelsea's wedding is expensive and they're trying to do right by both of you. By stealing from me? I wouldn't call it stealing. Uncle Mike, Dad's brother, was more blunt. That's messed up. Your dad shouldn't have touched that money. But I don't know what you expect me to do about it. But Great Aunt Marie? She was furious. They did what? She practically yelled through the phone. Ruth and Joe set up that fund specifically for your education. How dare they? Finally, someone got it. What can I do? I asked her. They said it's legal because they're custodians. Legal doesn't make it right. I'm calling your mother. Aunt Marie, I don't want to cause. Too late. This is happening. 20 minutes later, my phone exploded with angry texts from my mom. Apparently, Great Aunt Marie had called and absolutely torn into her, threatening to tell everyone in the family what they'd done and how they'd disrespected Ruth and Joe's memory. Mom's texts were furious. How dare you involve Aunt Marie? You're tearing this family apart. All of this over money. Your grandmother would be ashamed of you. That last one killed me. Grandma wouldn't be ashamed of me. She'd be ashamed of them. The compromise that wasn't. A few days later, my dad called. He sounded tired. Emma, we need to find a solution here. This has gone too far. I agree. Your mother and I have discussed it, and we're willing to compromise. My heart leaped. Maybe they'd realized how wrong this was. Maybe they'd find a way to fix it. We'll pay for your junior and senior year tuition, my dad continued. Out of pocket, not from the college fund. That way you won't need as many loans. What about the $40,000 you already spent? That money's gone, Emma. It paid for deposits that are non-refundable. But going forward will help. You'll help with money that should have been mine anyway? We'll take on the financial burden ourselves to make this right.
No.
You'll replace what you took. We can't do that. We don't have that kind of money. Then you shouldn't have spent it. Emma, I'm trying to find a middle ground here. The middle ground is you give me back my college fund. That's not realistic. Then we don't have anything to talk about. Don't be stubborn. We're offering to help. After you hurt me, you're offering to partially fix a problem you created. That's not help. That's damage control. You know what?
Fine.
Don't accept our help.
Take out loans.
Be buried in debt. But don't come crying to us when you're struggling to make payments. I won't. I'll never ask you for anything again. I hung up. My hands were shaking. The wedding invitation. The wedding invitation arrived 2 weeks ago. Formal, expensive looking, addressed to Miss Emma Patterson. Inside was a handwritten note from Chelsea. I really hope you'll reconsider and be there for my big day. I know things have been tense, but you're my sister. I love you. Please don't let money come between us. Love, Chels. It was so manipulative it almost made me laugh. Don't let money come between us. As if I was the one who'd brought money into this. I RSVP'd no online. Didn't write a note. Didn't call. Just clicked will not attend and closed my laptop. Chelsea called within an hour crying. You're really not coming? To my wedding?
No.
Emma, please. I'm sorry about the college fund thing. I really am. But this is my wedding. Can't we just put that aside for one day? Put aside that you stole from me? I didn't steal. Yes, you did. You knew that was my money. You took it anyway. And now you want me to celebrate you? I want my sister at my wedding. You should have thought of that before you decided my education was less important than your party. It's not a party. It's my wedding. Chelsea, I don't know what you expect me to say. You made your choice. I'm making mine. Everyone's going to ask where you are. What am I supposed to tell them? Tell them the truth. That you spent my college fund, and I decided I had better things to do. You're going to embarrass me in front of everyone? You embarrassed yourself.
She hung up on me.
10 minutes later, my mom called. Then my dad. Then various family members I hadn't heard from in months, all telling me I was being childish, that I needed to forgive and forget, that family is forever. But none of them offered to help replace the money. None of them acknowledged that what my parents and Chelsea did was wrong. They just wanted me to sweep it under the rug so Chelsea could have her perfect day. Where I am now. The wedding is in 2 weeks. I'm not going. I've blocked most of my family's numbers because the guilt-tripping and manipulation got too intense. I'm taking out student loans for next semester. I won't be able to study abroad. I can't afford it. I'll have to work more hours, which means fewer classes, which means graduating late. My 4-year degree is probably going to take 5 or 6 years now. I'm also in therapy because apparently being betrayed by your entire family does a number on your mental health. Who knew? Marcus has been incredible through all of this. His parents have basically adopted me at this point. His mom even offered to loan me money for school, but I couldn't accept it. I've learned my lesson about owing people. Great Aunt Marie has been calling weekly to check on me. She's threatened to boycott the wedding, but I told her not to. I don't want anyone else to suffer because of me. The hardest part is the grief. I'm grieving the family I thought I had, the parents who I thought would protect me, the sister I thought loved me, the future I thought was secure. And I'm grieving my grandparents all over again. They worked so hard to give me something they never had, a chance to start adult life without debt. They saved for years. They were so proud of that college fund. And my parents just gave it away, like it meant nothing. The questions I'm struggling with. So here's where I am, Reddit. I'm angry. I'm hurt. I feel completely betrayed. But I also wonder, am I overreacting? Everyone in my family thinks I am. They think I'm choosing money over relationships, being bitter over something that's already done, prioritizing my own comfort over my sister's happiness. Is graduating with debt really that big of a deal? Lots of people do it. Maybe I'm being entitled to think I deserve to graduate debt-free. Should I just suck it up and go to the wedding? Keep the peace? Forgive even though no one's actually apologized? Or am I right to draw this line and say that actions have consequences, that you can't just take from people and expect them to smile and pretend everything's fine? I honestly don't know anymore. The guilt is eating me alive. I miss my family. I miss feeling like I have a place to go home to. But I also can't unsee what they did. I can't pretend it's okay. So tell me, Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to be my sister's maid of honor after my parents stole my college fund to pay for her wedding? Am I wrong to skip the wedding entirely? Should I find a way to forgive and move forward? Or is it okay to be angry? Is it okay to protect myself, even if it means losing my family? I really need perspective here because I'm drowning. Edit. Wow, this blew up while I was in class. Reading through the comments, and I'm honestly crying. Thank you all for the validation and support. I've spent weeks feeling like a crazy person, and it helps more than you know to hear that I'm not overreacting. Edit 2. For those asking about the legal route, I've consulted with a lawyer. Marcus's mom helped. I could potentially sue for breach of fiduciary duty, but it would cost money I don't have, take years, and I might not win. Even if I did win, my parents don't have $40,000 to give me. They'd probably have to file bankruptcy. So I destroy them financially and still not get my money back. I'm not sure that's worth it. Edit 3. Someone suggested I write a letter to be read at the wedding explaining why I'm not there. I'm not going to do that. That feels too vengeful. As angry as I am, I don't want to actually ruin Chelsea's day. I just don't want to be part of it. Edit 4. The most common advice I'm getting is to go no contact, at least temporarily. I think that's what I'm going to do after the wedding passes. Right now, the constant contact attempts are just making things worse. I need space to heal and figure out who I am separate from this family dynamic. Thank you all again. Seriously. This community has been more supportive than my actual family.